It's our final views of Helsinki. So this trip's gonna take about 2 hours, they said. So should be in there. It's like 1:15 now. Should be there by like 3:15 in Tallinn. So altogether, including walking and taking the tram to the port, I think I spent about 3.5 hours travel time altogether with every form of travel. And it was a beautiful day. Had no issues with anything. Got to see lovely islands and boats there on the Gulf of Finland. And yeah, traveled from central Helsinki to the central part of Tallinn, the old town. And it's cool because it's the first Baltic country I'm traveling through. So, and it was once part of the Soviet Union. So when I was born, it was basically kind of like a state within the Soviet Union. It wasn't part of Russia, but it was part of the country of the Soviet Union. And yeah, it's just interesting to see how history has changed this part of the world so much and within our lifetimes, really. So because it would have been an entire different trip, like when I was, if it would happen back in the early 90s, late 80s. But beautiful views, and yeah, the ship itself was full of lots of stuff. Mall, it was basically like a mall, had like shopping areas, food courts, etc., etc. Yeah, there's also like a gambling area, and there was a part of the deck that was where you could smoke cigarettes. That's where I ended up having to do the filming here, which was not the best, but do what you can do. And if you can see on the far right of the map, there's Finland and Estonia. And you can see a little body of water that I crossed here. It's called the Gulf of Finland. And I went from that blue dot to the other blue dot. And there's the capital of Estonia right there, Tallinn. All right, so I'm just leaving my hostel now. I'm here in Helsinki, Finland, and I'm making my way to Tallinn, Estonia. So I'm actually gonna have to take a ferry across the Gulf of Finland, and it's gonna take like about 2.5 hours, but I'm headed to the ferry port now and I'm gonna go catch my boat. So plenty of boat action today. All right, so I gotta catch a tram, and I think it's this other side, if I believe I'm correct. So there's my tram station over there. But it's like a beautiful day today. It's nice. So it even has like a little board here, and I'm taking the 1T, so it's like 3 minutes away. Pretty nice. I think it's like about 5 or 6 stops too, so it's not too bad. Oh, man, look at that classic Mercedes. It looks really nice. All right, so this is a mine. I get on the next one. So, all right, so there's mine. Getting up on that one. So cool. All right. Okay, so I gotta do a little tap. Streets of Helsinki. Yeah. All right, so this is my stop here. All right. Let's get out of here. And here's the I can't even speak. Here's the ferry terminal. So I don't see the ferry yet. All right, so here's the ferry terminal. Getting closer. There's another train coming, another tram coming in from the other side. All right, so here we are. I got my ticket sorted. All right, so I just checked in. Now I just gotta go wait for boarding. So I don't even think the ship's here. It's got like an hour and a half. So I hope there is some food up here because I'm starving. Yeah, this waiting area is like massive. Look at that. Looks like there's like places to eat. So I'll go grab something or bite somewhere. All right, so this is where we're boarding. Got like an hour and a half here, so got here like super early, I guess. But better be safe than sorry, right? But it's gonna be a beautiful day today. Hopefully it stays like this. All right, so this is my choices. I know those chips are good. What the heck? Some sort of weird meat thing. That's weird. So that's like €5. We got some drinks down here, so I think I might just get a pack of chips. These are expensive. So I think that's our ship that we're getting on, and the vehicles are like queuing up there to load up. There's a ton of motorcycles, so that's so cool. Dang, these guys must have some bucks, so it looks like there's a ton of Harleys out there. Yep, that's the ship I'm gonna be on over there. Look at that. It's pretty big. Dang. Ah. That's cool. The motorcycles are loading up. It's like more of a, it's like backing in. It's crazy, like all the construction material they use. This is like local spruce, so it's like really light wood, but it's like really strong. If you've ever heard of the spruce goose, I guess in California, that's the type of wood that they use to construct the aircraft. All right, so I'm boarding now, and the line is pretty long though. All right, so I'm leaving Helsinki now, boarding the Megastar. They're still loading people there down there. Right there. All right, so now we're boarding the interior, and I'm probably gonna make my way to the top. All right, so I head to the sun deck, go outside, get some good view. Yeah, I mean, they have like a ton of food and stuff here. It's kind of crazy. It's like, dang, and nice like apple pies there. Look at all that. Pretty nice. Dang, this bar has a Burger King on it. That's crazy. Dang, this place has like a full bar in here. It's kind of insane. There's a little casino here. Probably lose again. It's crazy. They have like a karaoke place here too. More bars, more seating. All right, that's the spot here. All right, this is what I wanted. All right, I'm on the top deck, and it's like with all the smokers up here. So the farthest part the peasants could get access to, aka me, is this smoking ghetto deck up here. So just gotta hang out with all the smokers for the rest of this trip. So that's where my tram came in right there. That's the tram stop there, and then you could see the ferry port there. And I was staying like closer to over there, like a little bit further in the city, but you can see like the major port there where they have all the cranes and stuff like that to move the shipping containers back. And the ship is flagged with an Estonian flag. All right, saying bye to Helsinki, bye to Finland, headed to the Baltic countries. All right, leaving. I missed out on going and checking out these islands yesterday. It was like the weather was pretty bad most of the day until the very end of the day, essentially. And the ship's putting out like a lot of smoke. It's like kind of nasty. All right, so we're out in the open sea pretty much, and Helsinki and Finland coast is way off in the distance now. Way over there. It's pretty cold. I might actually like head down the bottom deck. Yeah, there you go. Gulf of Finland, open sea right here. So about like an hour stretch of this. All right, so I think I'm gonna chill here for like a half an hour at least. We might play like a little casino game here, or get a beer or something. I don't know. All right, so I'm gonna celebrate my first Estonian beer here. See how it goes. It's actually pretty nice. All right, this is just me chilling here, watching the sea go by. Yeah, there's another ship just like ours crossing the It's a good day to be out on the sea, I think. All right, here's the first sighting of Estonia. That's like a, yeah, I can see like the city way off in the distance there. Look really close there. So I think that is Tallinn there. All right, we're getting closer to Estonia. Right there, there's the coast. Honestly, it's kind of strange to think that whenever I was born, for a few years of my life, this was part of the Soviet Union, and it was kind of totally walled off, or it was difficult to travel to. Now it's like open. Things could change, I guess, within a lifetime. All right, so we're officially in Tallinn Bay, and I think we've got about like, you know, probably like 15 minutes to half an hour before we like port or dock over there. So should be there soon. Let's see. Yeah, that side there's an island there, so you can see the outline of it. It's pretty flat though. All right, getting closer little by little. Alright, we're getting closer. View from this side. Alright, getting closer. It's kind of crazy. So that's the old part of Tallinn there, and that's why we'll be staying in that area. So see how it goes. And then I guess they're building like a new section there, the skyscraper bit. And you're getting closer. Wow. So cool. Alright, so here we are, pulling in. I guess I'm just gonna be one of the last people to get off the boat because I want to get some good footage here. Yeah, I mean, it looks awesome. More than I'm staying in there too, the old part of town. It's really interesting.
Disembarkation from the car deck begins in 10 minutes. We remind you that smoking on the car deck is prohibited. Starting the engine before the signal from the crew is prohibited. Thank you.
Here's a look out at the bay. Alright, so this is the last little bit of footage I'm going to gather here at the port. So here we go. And there's Old Tallinn, Viking cruise line, or ferry line, I guess. And here's like some sort of warship, I guess. I don't know if this is an Estonian vessel or what. We're well within the protected port now. 2 weeks there. Look over here. I can everyone's kind of making their way down. So here we go. All right, so I was making my way out of here, going to the bar here area. All right, here's the casino. It's a little gaming area. All right, let's get out of here. All right, so I am taking off from here. All right, it's like a bit of a crush to get through. So everyone's rushing to get out. You can see like the vehicles coming out of the nose of the boat there. It's crazy. The bottom it comes out two different ways. It's like the top and the bottom. I assume like the bigger vehicles on the bottom are heavier. It's crazy. Yeah, it's like good ways to get out of here without it. All right, so I'm officially in Estonia, new country. Woo! I don't know what number that is so far. I put in the recap, I guess. But another country. Cool. All right, so I'm like less than a mile away. So I don't know. We'll see whether I decide to take a bus or figure it out. I don't know. All right, so I'm like 15 minutes away from my hostel. It takes just as much time to try and take a bus as it does to walk. So I think I'm just gonna walk it. Shit. Buses are coming. This apartment complex is like super skinny. It's crazy. Alright, it's cool. It's like some old boats here. There's another sailing boat that's like sitting down over here. What the heck is that? Like a torpedo or there's like sitting on it. That's so cool. It's crazy. There's a little port here. There's smaller boats. I guess they're building new construction here, apartments and shops and stuff. Some other cranes here. There's the new part of town. Alright, so I still got about half a kilometer to go. Headed towards that. So it's like a traffic crossing here in Tallinn. Just kind of observing how it operates. Alright, I got the green Walkman. Alright, so I'm like about 100 meters away from my place. Getting closer. Alright, so I'm here in front of my hostel. I'm going to end the tour here. It's pretty successful, or the video here, I guess. It was like, like a 2-hour boat ride and a little bit of travel between these other countries. So, yeah, it's a good trip today. Good weather. Everything went perfect. I want a little bit of cash on the slot machine. So, woo. But if you've been watching my channel, like, share, subscribe. Appreciate it.